If a man does this to you, no, that's not what you do either.
As I've learned, living alone as a 30-year-old man, it's been very healing. I've been cleaning everything myself.
In late October 2025, the streaming world paused. A single live stream, intended as a reveal, rippled outwards, shaking the foundation of one of the most prominent creator groups in online entertainment. On October 25th, 2025, streamer Emily Emeru Shunk stepped in front of her audience and made accusations that would send shockwaves across Twitch, YouTube, and beyond, accusing fellow streamer Matthew Mizkif Renato of sexual assault, stalking, emotional abuse, and harassment.
Today, I'm finally going to be opening up about the psychological and domestic stalking and harassment, sexual assault, and threats of blackmail that Mizkif has done towards me, and some of these issues which are still ongoing. The first and probably most severe reason is that one of the rules that I set for myself a long time ago about withholding this information was that if I ever felt like somebody else was in danger or being hurt, I would then make myself speak about it. And 2 weeks ago, actually 3 weeks ago now.
What followed was swift, not just heartbreak and outrage, but a legal storm, fractured alliances, and one of the most dramatic falls from grace in recent streaming history. This is the story of what many call the downfall of Mizkif. Matthew Mizkif Renato, streamer, content creator, and co-founder of the gaming entertainment organization One True King. From humble beginnings online to a spotlight among millions of followers, his rise seemed unstoppable. He was a respected personality, known for gaming streams, reaction videos, and a chaotic, often irreverent sense of humor. By 2025, Mizkif had become one of Twitch's most viewed variety creators. His influence extended across platforms, a name synonymous with the new era of online content and streamer culture. Yet this ascent didn't come without past controversy. In 2022 and 2023, Mizkif was under scrutiny, accused by some community members of helping to conceal a sexual assault allegation involving a roommate and another streamer. A formal investigation by outside counsel found no direct evidence that he covered up the assault. Still, the episode cost him leadership standing in OTK. He apologized publicly, lost his position on the board, but ultimately regained membership. To many, it was a tarnished reputation. To others, closure. And then came 2025, October 25th to be exact. On Twitch, under the glow of her webcam and before a live audience, Emeru made allegations that stunned many. She claimed sexual assault, emotional and psychological abuse, harassment, stalking, long-term misconduct that, she said, extended beyond the end of their relationship. According to her account, during one encounter, while she was distressed and crying, Mizkif allegedly forced unwanted physical contact, an attempt to climb on top of her, and an aggressive hand motion that she found deeply violating. She says she screamed. He stopped, but didn't apologize, didn't check if she was okay, and left immediately. She also described a continuing pattern after their breakup, repeated contact, messages demanding reconciliation, threats of public smear campaigns, and pressure through mutual friends and associates. In live stream after live stream, in screenshot after screenshot, she presented what she described as receipts, months of messages, apologies, overtures, and persistent attempts at contact. She framed this as harassment and emotional manipulation. And beyond the alleged personal abuse, she claimed threats, warnings that if she ever spoke publicly, he would destroy her reputation, even attempting to frame her for misconduct involving her pets. Accusations, she says, were baseless and designed to scare her into silence.
Today, I'm finally going to be opening up about the psychological and domestic stalking and harassment, sexual assault, and threats of blackmail that Mizkif has done towards me, and some of these issues which are still ongoing. I ended up joining the org and everything. We did a lot of streams together. And I mean, a lot of people already know this, but I'm just gonna come out and say it. We started dating. We were in a relationship starting January 2022. The first and probably most severe reason is that one of the rules that I set for myself a long time ago about withholding this information was that if I ever felt like somebody else was in danger or being hurt, I would then make myself speak about it. And 2 weeks ago, actually 3 weeks ago now, I was informed by 3 separate people, one of whom was present for said incident, that he had done something similar to something that he had done to me, and to someone in LA at the end of September. And this person is not a streamer or content creator, but obviously that does not matter. And because of this, I cannot in good conscience sit here knowing that I know critical information about someone that almost no one else does and not say anything. At TwitchCon, he approached one of my employees, threatening them and saying if I ever talked about him, he would destroy me. It's not a secret. I think everyone who paid attention knew that he was very controlling over what I wore, to a degree, who I was friends with, and even when I would stream. It was definitely slow over time that bad things started happening. At the start, it would be things like, for example, he would throw bottles, like plastic bottles with liquid in it, not like glass bottles, at me, despite me telling him like I didn't like it and it scared me and I bruise very easily. He would throw his phone at me. I would tell him, you know, it scared me, I don't like it. And one time it even hit me in the eye, which caused me to get a black eye, but he always, you know, was like, oh, it's an accident. And I was like, oh yeah. At the time, I just kind of was, you know, I just brushed it off. And looking back now, I feel like that was kind of the start of him testing my boundaries, if that makes sense.
The live stream ended, but what it opened would soon engulf the streaming community. Within hours of the live stream, reaction was fierce. Viewers, fellow creators, fans, many expressed shock, others offered support. Just 2 days later, on October 27, 2025, One True King, the organization Mizkif co-founded, released a public statement. Though they said their severance from him happened some time ago, they declared he no longer held any stake or role and publicly backed Imaru's courage in coming forward. What had once been teamwork, collaboration, creative synergy dissolved in public. As news spread, more creators reportedly spoke of discomfort, past incidents. The community began re-examining not just the accusations, but the ecosystem around popular streamers. Power, influence, loyalty, silence. But while the community spoke, Mizkif moved. On November 3rd, 2025, scarcely a week after the revelations, Mizkif filed a federal defamation lawsuit against Imaru, fellow streamer and commentator Asmongold, the OTK Group, and associated companies. In the suit, he denied the allegations, contending that the public statements caused him significant reputational harm, financial loss, and emotional distress. He described the sequence of events as a coordinated effort to oust him from the business ventures he helped build. He claims he was never given a fair opportunity to respond before the wave of accusations, organizational severance, and public condemnations. The suit highlights loss of equity in OTK, termination by associated agencies, and near certain long-term consequences to his career. For the first time in his career, Mizkif challenged the narrative publicly, not on a live stream of gameplay or banter, but in a court of law. At this point, having walked through who he is, what was alleged, the public fallout, and the counteractions, we've laid the groundwork. To fully understand why the 2025 accusations against Mizkif hit so hard, and why many believe this is his downfall, we need to rewind slightly. Because this was not the first time his name had been tied to controversy. Back in 2022 and 2023, Mizkif and the streamer collective One True King, OTK, came under scrutiny after allegations emerged that a friend and roommate, also a streamer, had assaulted someone while intoxicated. Some accused Mizkif and others of helping to conceal the incident. An outside counsel investigation eventually concluded there was no direct evidence that Mizkif had covered up the assault. As a result, he was reinstated as a member of OTK, but was removed from its leadership/board role for what the group described as a callous disregard in how he responded publicly. That episode left a stain. For many in the community, even before 2025, Mizkif's reputation was already shaky. Some fans, creators, and insiders saw a red flag, a popular streamer who seemed to skirt accountability. So when the 2025 allegations surfaced, it resonated differently, not as a one-off scandal, but as a potentially long, troubling arc, one that begged questions about culture, power, and protection in the streaming world. Within hours of the public accusations, social media and the streaming community exploded. Clips, reaction videos, commentary threads, they spread fast, with strong emotional reactions and calls for accountability. Many creators and fans rallied behind Imaru, applauding her decision to speak out. Among them was Asmongold, Zach Hoyt, a longtime peer and co-owner in OTK. He publicly admitted regret, saying giving Mizkif a platform was a mistake, acknowledging he may have ignored warning signs.
I don't know. But, and so, it always was bad vibes. I mean, in a way, like, there's a part of me that feels kind of responsible, in a way, because, like, I wish I had just known more. If I was able to just know more and be more assertive and, everything. But at the end of the day, I mean, I can't really fucking know everything. And I don't think anybody thought it was as bad as it was. And I apologize for, platforming Miz to the extent that I did. It was a mistake. I didn't know it at the time, but it was a mistake.